Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Greaves McIntosh. I'm slightly tongue-tied, you'll have to excuse me. And we are live. The match has actually started about half an hour, 40 minutes ago. But the soonest I could get to the desk is right now. If you give us just a second, we can update the scorecards. The match that we will be covering tonight, Greg Dunn's team versus Brian Zachary's team. Thank you for sticking with us and your patience and your understanding, and we will be with you shortly. Curling fans, once again, ladies and gentlemen, hello, good evening, and welcome to Dumfries Ice Bowl as we bring you the late starting coverage of the final session of Day 2. As well as keeping you up to date with all of the latest scores, the match we are covering live is Greg Dunn's team going against Brian Zachary's team. Now this is quite interesting in that both teams have won their first game, and as far as I'm aware, Brian Zachary had a bye in the second game, so that's Thursday out of the way. Greg Dunn won his game because we commentated on that earlier on in the day. At the moment, Greg Dunn's team are sitting 1 up. In this, the 4th end. 6 ends minimum, 10 end maximum. And as you can see, the scores are displayed at the bottom of your screen. We are broadcasting live via our YouTube channel. We present to you the National Men's Championship 2015 in partnership with the English Curling Association. We'll bring you the scores live officially. That's the end of the fourth end. How many times can you say end in a sentence? And now the commentating can officially begin. Start of the fifth end. It would be unprofessional of me to sort of jump in halfway through. Once again, thank you for joining us. We apologise, it's slightly later than planned. That was a brilliant takeout there by Jonathan Havercroft. And this is where the coin flips, having perfected the takeout with pinpoint accuracy. It also means that the gap is there. The gap is there for Arthur Bates. Looks like he's filled the gap and taken out the blue. Perfect. And it tucks in just behind. That is a beautiful stone. Very well played. That is the shot. It just stopped in time. Thank goodness. Brian Zachary no doubt will be breathing a sigh of relief. Sadly, we don't have a breathing camera. Having said that, this is where the coin flips again. Greg Dunn will have seen that opportunity. If you can just follow it in. Again, a nudge on the blue in the centre of the house. Both teams, in fact, every team in this tournament has expressed, and has shown great sort of curling ability. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the tournament, but you get what I mean. If the shots are called, there's every chance that they could happen. Well played, needs to stop, and that is second shot. According to my eye, it could be a measure. I think they're calling that second shot rather. Yeah, just having a check again. That's made me feel a lot better as a commentator when the skip checks the same thing that you're checking. It means that it sounds like that I know what I'm talking about, which I do. To some extent. But as I was saying, every team has shown great curling ability, which is obvious, otherwise they wouldn't be here. I've had the great pleasure of calling many great games, but I think I called Brian Zachary's first game yesterday at 2, and then earlier on today I called Greg Dunn's game that he ended up winning. So these two were bound to meet at some point. Well, it's a round robin, everybody's bound to meet, but you get the point. Of course, that's me being totally impartial and on the fence. If Brian Zachary can get a hit on the front yellow and hit it square, hit it dead on, hopefully that would hit the second yellow. But it would have to be a pretty good takeout weight. I think that's what's been called. And I totally forgot to put my disclaimer in. This is just my opinion. If you watch this back as a player and go, actually, Michael, that's the right call, you were probably right. There's a reason I'm up here and they're down there. Brian Zachary had last stone. And he will keep last stone. 1 yellow to Greg Dunn's team. At the end of this 5th end, Brian Zachary will retain the hammer. But after the 5th end, it's in the rules. After the 5th end, there is a break for the players. It has been an action-packed first couple of days here at Dumfries Ice Bowl, in partnership with the English Curling Association. Just a quick word that tomorrow, being Saturday, we will be live on air at 9 AM sharp. That's when the first session starts. And the second and final session will be at 2 PM. While the players are taking a break after the 5th end, I'm just trying to update the scores, which should be with you shortly. Thank you for sticking with us. We just had confirmation that John Brown and Oliver Kendall, the notes I have, are wrong, as they sometimes are. So John Brown is playing lead, Oliver Kendall is playing second, Jonathan Havercroft is playing vice, and Brian Zachary is leading his team. So we will endeavour to sort that out. And in the true spirit of curling, who was that confirmation from? Well, it was from somebody from Alan McDougall's team, a totally different team, playing in the same tournament, obviously. So that's very good. The spirit of curling is truly with us. So at the beginning of the sixth end, John Brown is playing lead, and that's a perfect stone, right behind the guard. Steve, a man who is definitely playing lead, getting all self-conscious now. Trying to take it out, just hits an edge. John Brown will want to try and take the yellow now. It's the shot to do. One of the only shots to do, actually, in this situation. Without sounding patronising. This looks good. Coming up to his own blue. That's very good. Setting 2 up. Stephen Hines now. And that is takeout weight. My goodness, that was sent with some vigour. Or gusto, to use a better word. Having said that, it's dying. I thought that was takeout weight. It needs help. Just squeaks by the first guard. I swear it looked like takeout weight when it left. Oliver Kendall, the second. for Brian Zachary's team. Want to try and take the yellow out. And sit for 3. This is quite impressive. The stone has just been released. This is a better weight. The sweepers were called off. Now they're sweeping again. Needs to keep going. It's dying again. That's very good. To sit 4, and I think it's 3. Can't see. Don't have a visual yet. Greg Dunn standing in the way. Yes, sitting for 3. Now this is interesting now. This is where curling stops and demolition derby begins. Just hit one of them. Minimise the damage. Stephen Hines, let's see. Just don't hit his own. He's opened the cluster up. Still sitting 3. Oliver Kendall will just want to try and come up to the stone. Put a guard in. Yep, guard is called. Guard is called, and then anywhere in the white, anywhere you want was the call. Direct call from Brian Zachary. It's certainly guard weight. It'll just squeak over the hog line, or will it? Yes, just over the hog line. But is it all the way over? Do you know, that is close. That is very close. Is it in? Yep, it looks in. Nobody's kicked it out the way. That's a technical term. Arthur Bates, the vice skip, the stone has been released. It's definitely over the hog line. Crisis averted. Arthur Bates just needs to have a little bit more power, which is what the sweeping, the obsessive sweeping, is for. Try and keep it in a straight line. Jonathan Havercroft. What will he be asked to do? There's a lot of head scratching going on. In fairness, I think that was Greg Dunn scratching his head. Not Brian Zachary. Brian Zachary seems to know what he's doing. So does Greg Dunn, obviously. Jonathan Havercroft. I have to say that the direct hit doesn't look on. It's probably one of the most interesting formations I've seen. That's another technical term. Which is probably the reason why people are sort of going up and down the ice thinking about it. Arthur Bates has made a decision. Taking the stone. Not quite, actually. He's definitely made a decision. The sweepers are in place. There's the proof. Okay, the stone has been released. Just drifting out of shot. And the magic of webcasting. With multiple cameras. Back into shot. The film students take note. And that looks okay, actually. It just needs to stay in a straight line. Ooh, squeeze past. Front guard has been called, and rightfully so, with the three stones setting in a cluster. If you can build sort of Hadrian's Wall, or another wall. How many walls are there? Famous walls. Answers on a postcard. Just put a guard in. Stonehenge isn't a wall, is it? There'll be some history buff saying, actually, Stonehenge is a wall. I'm not big on history. I can't remember what happened an hour ago, let alone sort of 50 years ago. I'm only 23. Just a simple guard now. Jonathan Havercroft. A simple guard. It sounds so simple when you're upstairs. Looks okay, actually. I must say, just is, or just a, rather, is an expression that is used overly in curling. Just a guard, just a draw, just a take out. It always makes me chuckle a little bit. Doesn't matter how much you look at the stone, it's not going to move unless we can invite Paul McKenna. But actually, just looking at the sort of shot that is played, if you can sort of see the line in your head before taking the shot, which is exactly what Greg's looking at. Let's see. The sixth end. And this is Greg Dunn's first stone. Takes the guard off. There's still 3 stones there. I'm not Mystic Meg, but I think Brian's going to put the guard back in. There's still 3 stones in the centre of the house. We want to protect them. If it ends 3 blue, that's the most sort of scored in one end in this game. So this could be a pivotal point, a deciding moment. Que sera, sera. Carry on the expressions. Indeed. Guard is called. Guard is called. And the stone has been released. Brian Zachary letting the stone go, hoping it gets there. It's a guard, so he needs it to get there for the 3. As long as it doesn't hog. Goodness me. Do you know? It's just over. More over than the other blue. Further over, rather. I think Greg Dunn is planning an aerial shot. I don't see any way he's going to get round the 2 guards. He's going to give it a go, though. More power to Greg. I've met both teams. Exceptional gentlemen. But I can say if Greg hits this and knocks even one of the blues out, the Great Escape music will be played. And also, he doesn't have last stone, so the one thing he wants to do is prevent Brian Zachary from making it 4. It's in, but it hasn't touched the 3 stones. but it's also put a wall up. That's pretty fabulous, actually. You put a guard in one side, and Brian Zachary goes, well, actually, let's try and take the yellow out and sit for 4. There's only so many stones you're allowed in an end. Brian Zachary with the last stone. Lets it go. A full rundown of the scores will be put on the bottom of your screen. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. 3 blue. Wasn't going to risk it. Outstanding. It means that Greg Dunn will have the hammer. He might need it. He will need it. John Brown leading off. On the button. Slightly short of the button, but the line was there. Not that I'm being overly critical. I challenge anyone to sort of throw a stone like that at 10:15 at night. After one 10-end game, to play another. It's exhausting. And I'm just commentating, but I love it. It should be John Brown. It is John Brown. Thank goodness. Got it right. Coming up to the yellow. It's a guard that is guarding a guard that is guarding an almost under button shot. I know that sounds like total gibberish. Steve Aman. Tap it back, either side, doesn't matter, that's the call. And I can't see as yet, neither can you. That's tapped 1 back. That's That's what was asked. That was called. That's well played. Oliver Kendall, playing for Brian Zachary's team in the second position. Same shot was called again. Tap one of the yellows back. The stone has been released, as far as I'm aware. No, it hasn't. Excuse me. Goodness. Oh, it has. I was right. I apologise. It's a bit scatty at the moment. I think that's a bit wide of what he wanted. Brian Zachary will be scratching his head again. That's okay. That's guarding nothing. However, it will be useful. Every stone has a purpose. That's the day one saying. I can't remember what the day two saying is, even though I did a link about it earlier. Oh, that was it. Play the numbers. That's what I was always told. Stephen Hines. Oliver Kendall, the second player. The gestures say it all. You can hit that one, oh that one, oh that one. There's three sort of identical shots on. You can only play one. I think he's went for the right hand side, which is probably correct. There's no danger of sort of promoting their own stone. Just take the yellow away. And that's not a heart rate monitor. That is a buzzer that goes off every half hour. I think Oliver's got it. Don't tempt fate. Yes, he has. Outstanding. Oh, no, he hasn't. After all that. After all that. Stephen Hines now. I think he's going to try and replicate that shot. It certainly looks like he's got the weight for it. The stone, rather, not him individually. Taps the yellow back. Promotes the blue. Right, okay. That's fine. Just trying to make one move ahead. There's every chance that Jonathan Hevcroft will be asked to guard that blue. Blue still line shot. But I think that served a purpose. Day one saying. Arthur Bates now, the vice skip for Greg Dunn's team. Sweepers have been called off. Well, one of them has. That's tapped the blue back. So blue is still lying shot, but it's opened the gap, which is exactly what Greg wanted. You can see by the thumbs up there. I think it was a thumb. I hope it was. Has been known, not by Greg, but by other players. Ah, that's a beautiful stone, I think. No, actually, that could be a mistake, unless I've forgotten the graphic. Right, that was a mistake. News just in. So Arthur Bates capitalising on that. There's now 4 yellow counting. Now, assuming I've got the graphic right, this should be Brian Zachary. Has been known. I know we're past the lead in second stage. Now is it down a little bit. Lets the stone go. Needs to hit one of them and stay. Gets an edge. Gets a second edge. And the blue is, I think, line shot. Yes. Yes, it is. That's a very well played stone. lot of umming and ahhing going on. Intense discussion is probably the best term to describe that. Can't use umming and ahhing in a commentating situation. I apologise. I do notice that everything I've said has a sort of certain ironic tone. Not meant at all. If I can provide snippets of information. Do you know, I think Greg's done that. Hold on. That's one. And it needs to stay. It needs to stop. Any time now would be good. Yes, that's well played. So now there's 4 yellows in the house. Not a blue to speak of. Yet. Not over yet. That is a sort of rival for shot of the day. Brian Zachary won't think so. In fact, I won't tell you what Brian Zachary's thinking. Might be a bit rude. I don't know how personally these players take this, all this playing, takeouts, and I can only go by my experience. As long as you shake hands at the beginning and at the end, keep your sort of thoughts to yourself and get on with it. It's a beautiful game when it goes well. When it doesn't, not so much. We all have days like that. I think with a bit of sweeping, that stone by Brian Zachary could have been shot. It's not quite, as far as I can see. No, it's not quite. I'd call the yellow at the back shot. I could be wrong. I don't think that Greg thinks that. I'm not going to ask him now. We're on different levels of the building. That's what I need for sort of next year, a megaphone. The last rock of this, the 7th end. And this could be an important one. This could be a very important one. Greg, the pressure's on. No doubt he'll know that. Looks online. Needs to knock the blue out. Needs to knock the blue out. No. Blue is one blue. It's definitely one blue. That is a missed opportunity. So the end of the 7th end, going into the 8th end, Brian Zachary's team leads 7 shots to Greg Dunn's 3. But Greg Dunn has the hammer. Thank you for sticking with us. If there's a gap in play, which there could well be, I'll update the scores. Don't want to miss a thing now. But I think Greg could see that as a missed opportunity. Okay, we have the scores. I'm very tempted to say scores on the duels, but that would be cliche. Never mind, I've said it. And here they are, the updated scores of the other matches going on. So after 7 ends, each sheet of ice has played 7 ends. James Dixon leads Owen Rees 7 stalls to 4. Sheet E is the sheet we're covering, so we don't need to go over that again. And sheet F, Alan McDougall leads John Summers' team 9 stones to 6, and that is the up-to-date current scores so far. As we have begun this 8th end, hallelujah. Okay. Yellowstone of Greg Dunn lying shot at the moment. Greg Dunn's team, not played by Greg. Just sort of paraphrasing. Takes the first yellow out. Having said that, I've got a feeling they're going to put the guard back in. Yes! The shot is called. Having said that, Greg needs to put a few in. He will know that. Oliver Kendall playing second. When I say a few, I mean 4 in the next 3 ends. Let's have a look. Oliver Kendall has to minimise the risk. I think he's done that. Has he? The answer to that question would be no, actually. Apologies, Oliver. Stephen Hines now. Stephen Hines. I'm assuming this is Stephen Hines. Yes. That's a guard. It's guarding the 2 stones that are in the centre of the house. Our view is restricted. Our view is restricted, but there was a hit there. Yes, putting the guard in. Putting the guard in. Yeah, just needs to come over a little bit. Fantastic. This is exactly what Greg Dunn needs from his team. Sitting 4 stones behind in this, the 8th end, as the sort of overall score dictates. So a 2 is needed. The stone has been released. Should be on our way into shot in about 3 or 4 seconds. At great speed, is going to take the guard off minimum. Yep. Hits the guard, but rolls his own out of play. Jonathan Havercroft. I think that was planned. I think. Don't know. Obviously, you know, if that ends up being the shot of the match, everybody on that team will see, yep, planned. Okay, this should be other bits. You never know. It is, I think it is. Stop doubting yourself. Actually, it could be a couple of shots behind, actually. Let's have a look. I think it was Greg, actually. Apologies to Greg. After a while, everybody looks the same. Shrug of the shoulders there. I don't think Brian knows what to do. Literally just shrugged his shoulders. When I say everybody looks the same, it does help the commentator when the names are printed on the back. Just a sort of note for future. It also makes them like footballers, the players rather, but helps you out. There's a lot of shouting and focusing going on here. Hits the first guard, knocks their own son over a little bit. Guard has been called. It's an obvious shot to take. I think this is Greg Dunn now. Could be Jonathan Avecroft. It's one of them. I've narrowed it down. Poirot, I am not. Marple, maybe. I'll figure it out on the way home. Just needs to be a guard. Not too much. Just leave it now. Leave it. Yes. It could have been over a little bit. Right, that was Greg Dunn. 2 yellow. Okay, we're about to start the penultimate end. End number 9 of 10. Hence penultimate. Without saying patronising. The 9th end. And Brian Zachary has the hammer. Greg Dunn has reduced the deficit. 4-2. John Brown leading off for Brian Zachary's team. With the hammer, don't forget. It's very important you know who has the hammer. It's like the last move in chess. And that's a pretty good stone. It's in the house. Just lovely. Just in front of the tee. Steve Aman. His second stone of this, the penultimate end. Makes it sound at the end of the world. Penultimate end. Very dramatic, I apologise. Steve Aman letting the stone go. Greg Dunn looking ready. Don't know what to do. Ready to sweep? Not quite. Needs to keep going. If it sits on the blue, that's fine. John Brown taking his second stone. Can afford to tuck in behind the blue. All being well, it should be Stephen Hines. The stone has been released. It's not Stephen Hines, that's for sure. It is Oliver Kendall. And the stone goes straight through. Stephen Hines now. That's a pretty good stone. I think it's going to just come up to it. Can't see, don't have a visual. Can't commentate. This is very awkward. What would be the order of the day? Let's have a look. The blue is still eyeing shot, which, as it stands, if the scores were left, 8-5, which would leave it all for Greg Dunn to do. I'm sure he's planning to take the blue out by hitting his own. That would be sort of 2 or 3 shots ahead. Forget the shots ahead. He's tapping his shoulder. He wants a takeout, and he wants it now. He might want to promote the front guard. Yes, definitely hit the front guard to hit the blue. Let's have a look. That's coming down pretty quickly. It's through the gap, but it's hit its own. The gap didn't look big enough, really. I wasn't sure. As the yellow is over the blue line, it's deemed out of play. Put the guard back in. That would be the shot to take. Brian Zachary indicating that. It looks like, rightfully so, it's a guard. As long as it's not too light, which it isn't, it's over the hog. Thank goodness. Nothing worse than hogging. Hogging the microphone, hogging the stone. That is a near perfect guard. Makes it awfully difficult. Greg Dunn having a look. Greg Dunn having a big look at this stone. When I say big look, I mean in-depth look. I know it's a stone. He knows it's a stone. You know it's a stone. Just trying to pick the ideal line. Seems to be going about it the right way. This is what vice skips are for. The second opinion. Okay, Greg Dunn. He's had a real look at this. Getting ready to take the shot. This will be discussed around the dinner table, or the breakfast table as it is. Okay, takes the shot. It's drifting out and then drifting back into shot. Seamlessly, I might add. Okay. Needs to come over a touch. What's it done? Don't have a visual. The answer not a great deal. Let's have a look. Just having a look at the delayed. There is a small delay between what you see and what I commented on, and we literally don't have a visual when it comes to that shot. But the blue went out, which is what Greg wanted, I guess. That's the first blue. The second blue, the one that's the bugbear, is almost in the centre of the house. Brian Zachary, who wants to try and cover the blue as effectively as possible. And I think he's done that. Yes. Well, yes, he has. I don't see a stone going through the centre gap, through the guards. Having said that, that's exactly what Greg's looking at. And his vice skip. Crucially, Greg doesn't have last stone in this end. So not only is he 2 down, he's effectively a stone down. I seem to have said it every single game, but it's important to retain the hammer in the 10th end, or the 9th end, going into the 10th end. I think that might be Greg, what he's thinking about. Let's have a look. Chino, it's gonna hit the blue. Oh, thank goodness. Sorry, Greg. I did say a stone wouldn't go through the gap. And for once I was proven right, but then again, the teams don't have the benefit of cameras until the game is finished. The last rock in this, the penultimate end, goes to Brian Zachary. And I'm out on a limb when I say I don't see a draw unless he promotes the blue. It is last rock, or last stone. And there is a lot of in my commentating, because I'm thinking as I'm speaking. Apologies for excessive use of He's let it go. Brian Zachary has let the stone go. He seems to be online. Yes, the sweepers. Minimal sweeping involved. He's going to promote the blue. He's going to do exactly what I said. And that's one. That's one blue. Is it one blue? One blue. One blue. And we're going to get measure for the second. If there's an umpire, which there is. No. They've agreed. Could be 2. 2 blue. It is 2 blue. It's official. So it's official. Brian Zachary secures a 2. 2 blue, which takes the score to 9 stones to 5 after the 9th end. Going into the final end, it is John Brown. So playing the numbers, Greg Dunn needs to get a 4 to tie, 4, and a 5 to win. And obviously, in the interest of fairness, Brian Zachary just has to prevent that from happening. Okay, sheet F, the games have finished. So I'm assuming that finished 9-6. They took the scores down. I apologise. Sheet D is still playing. We're covering sheet E. If a centre guard was asked, then that's a perfect stone. And John Brown, as it sails out the back door, that's a shame. But it's not a tragedy. They're 4 in front, Zachary's team. And that could be an opportunity for Greg. I think it will be. He needs it. He knows it. Steve Aman. Okay, we have the official scores going into the 10th end. One of them's cut off ever so slightly. Give me a second. There we go. As if by magic. Sheet D. Having said that, I think my DIY sort of computer graphic is now obstructing sheet F, which is okay. Sheet F has finished playing. Sheet D. Okay, so after 9 ends, the red stones are in front. So Dixon, that's James Dixon, 8 stones to Owen Reese's 6. We are covering sheet E, and sheet F have finished playing. Okay. Crisis averted. Back to the game in hand. Oliver Kendall there. So 2 blue as it stands. Not looking good for Greg Dunn's team now, unfortunately. And I say that with not on the fence at all, which I'm not. I say that again, not on the fence at all. In a wheelchair. Not on the fence. Okay. Oliver Kendall has taken the shot. Stephen Hines for Greg Dunn. That's a centre guard. Either that or it's a very light draw and unfortunate. I think Brian Zachary want to possibly take the yellow out. I think that's what he's asking. From what I can work out. Yep, definitely what he's asking. Take out the yellow. Minimise the risk. Improve the numbers. That's the order of the day for Brian Zachary. The stone has been released. It's coming into shot. Hits the yellow, which sails right the way out the house. Exactly what he wanted, Brian Zachary. Okay, so now Greg Dunn has to hit and roll. Jonathan Havercroft now. Greg Dunn and his team need to hit this. This is a must. Can't miss this. And I think it... oh no, it's hit the it's hit the inside blue. Well played. And that is the shot, providing it doesn't move anymore, which it doesn't. So yellow is the shot. It could just be a formality if the stone stays as it is. 9-6, but I'm sure Brian Zachary doesn't want the stone to stay as it is. He's asked for the takeout. Or asked for the takeout. Arthur Bates will be going for this. It looks online. Arthur has got this. The sweepers are off, and it's a formality. Out goes the yellow and the blue. But still 2 in the house. Jonathan Havercroft. Oh, hold on. What am I talking about? No, I was right. I was right. Thank goodness. Thank goodness I was right. This is Arthur Bates. So as it stands, 2 blue in the house, which would take the score to 11-5. Crucial win for Brian Zachary. Of course, as the game goes on, the shots get fewer and fewer, and it becomes impossible for the team that are not scoring as highly, without using the term losing. In this case, Greg Dunn, to make up the numbers. This is the cruel part of curling. Okay, so now there's 3 blue in the house. Thanks to Jonathan Havercroft. A lot of in-depth discussion going on. Try saying that with a lisp. This could be the Braveheart moment. Sort of freedom. I don't know. But each team will be playing by the numbers. That's day 2 saying. Day first, every stone. Day first? Day 4. Day 1. Every stone has a purpose. Tongue-tied already. It's only day 2. 2 to go. The stone has been released. Shouting at a maximum. Greg Dunn. Okay, Brian Zachary, this is for sure. It is Brian Zachary, I've just checked. Okay. Playing the blue stone. He doesn't have last stone, but 1 stone to go. Needs to hit the yellow, I would have thought. No, it's going to sail right past the yellow. Draw to the button. Needs to stop, and there's the handshake. So the game ends 1 blue, which takes it to 10-5. At the end of the 10th end. And that is the final game played tonight. The 10th 10th end on sheet D. Owen Rees pulled it back to 8-7 in a losing effort, unfortunately. So that's James Dixon who wins the match on sheet D. We've already covered sheet E. That finished 1 blue in that 10th end, so that takes it to 10-5 in favour of Brian Zachary over Greg Dunn. And sheet F, that finished relatively early, so early that they took the scores down. So that is the end of day 2 here at the Ice Bowl, Dumfries Ice Bowl, no less. Please join us tomorrow, 9 a.m. kickoff, sharp. I will be here. I hope you will be too. From everybody here at the Ice Bowl, my name's Michael Greaves McIntosh. We'll see you tomorrow.